The origin of sushi is said to be Southeast Asia in the 4th century BC. It was introduced to China. Furthermore, it is said that it was introduced to Japan in the 8th century. This is true and not true. This is a fermented food made by salting fish and rice. Rice is used as carbohydrates to promote fermentation, so eat only fish without eating rice. That is the origin of sushi. The method of preserving food called salting has been common all over the world since ancient times. It is natural that it ferments naturally, but the use of rice to promote its fermentation may have been groundbreaking. Similar foods may have already existed.
You know me.
You know me? Your village.
Hi, I'm village. No, 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 no. 違う。これを You know me と言います。英語の You know me とほぼ同じ発音です。
Really?
本当です。これも逸話があります。続きをどうぞ。
History of sushi. It's called sushi. This is the oldest kanji for sushi and is still used today. The meaning of kanji is it means fish sour. This is called sushi. This is the next oldest kanji for sushi, which is also in use today. The meaning of kanji is it means fish salted. Sushi, which was introduced to Japan in the 8th century as a preserved fish food, had such kanji. In Japan, I immediately changed this sushi to a slightly fermented one. In other words, eat as edible rice before it becomes liquid by fermentation. The fish ate a little raw state. It leads to modern sushi. It's a sour fish and rice dish. However, it is still a fermented food, so it has a habit. Even in Japan today, as a traditional dish you can eat sushi made by this method. In the 17th century, instead of fermentation sushi mixed with vinegar and rice appeared. The sushi at this time was just vinegared rice topped with foods such as fish and vegetables. It seems that there was also a case where this was put in a wooden frame mold and hardened. Such sushi is called ashizushi, also eaten in the current Japan. And the 19th century. Time is still in the samurai era. Sushi called nigiri sushi it will appear in Edo, which is the current Tokyo. It's called nigiri sushi. The meaning is mold, congratulations, and control. And now the kanji sushi used at this time. This is the most used sushi kanji in Japan. Nigiri sushi that appeared in this era. It can be said that it is the prototype of sushi that is currently eaten all over the world. There is no refrigerator in this era, so no true raw fish is used. With the spread of soy sauce, it has become possible to store it as soy sauce pickles. This made it possible to eat almost raw fish as sushi with soy sauce. But, at this time, sushi was eaten at food stalls. In other words, the beginning of sushi is fast food. And nowadays, when you order sushi, you often get 2 sushi each. It is a reminder that the sushi of this era was one size for 2 sushi. So, one of the sushi of this era was big. In addition, sushi roll also appeared in this era. At the beginning of the 20th century, when the samurai era was over with the advent of ice makers, the number of sushi restaurants using completely raw fish will increase. The large sushi has become smaller and now the same size as it is today. And a big earthquake hits Tokyo. Tokyo sushi chefs who lost their homes are scattered all over Japan. Nigiri sushi, which had been eaten only in Tokyo until then, now you can eat it all over Japan. After World War II, Japan was short of food. Among them, the current style of nigiri sushi is allowed to operate, so speaking of sushi, the current style has become the standard. After this, the sushi restaurant will become more sophisticated with the reconstruction of Japan. That's right. Speaking of high-class stores and high-class food, sushi has become. On the other hand, in 1958, low-priced sushi that turned sushi on a conveyor belt will appear. This became popular in Japan around 1980, but sushi is becoming more polarized. Those who find employment in traditional high-end sushi restaurants train as soon as they work to start making sushi in front of customers. It has become common for it to take 10 years. That's right. It's really a craftsman's job. Conveyor belt sushi, on the other hand, is mechanized and manualized. The initial evaluation of Japanese people was to think of it as a cheap form of high-class sushi. It took a long time for this to become generalized. However, it continued to develop after 1980. Most of them are frozen materials, but their refrigeration technology has advanced dramatically, and nowadays, it is said that the taste is slightly inferior to that of high-end sushi restaurants. It's just a little. Speaking of luxury sushi shop but as counter format, if you want to eat this style of sushi in Tokyo, the meal price per person is around $200. It is around $100 even in rural areas. However, conveyor belt sushi costs around $20. There is no tip system or way of thinking in Japan. Which sushi restaurant would you like to go to? Bactericidal effect seen in sushi. Vinegar, which you all know, has a bactericidal effect. And the refreshing spiciness that you put between fish and rice is wasabi. This also has a strong bactericidal effect, but it seems that genuine wasabi can only be eaten at high-end stores. Wasabi is a high-class food in Japan as well. In many cases, different varieties with similar tastes are used. And speaking of sushi, a sweetly seasoned ginger called gari comes out as a side dish. This ginger also has a bactericidal effect. And don't forget about green tea. This green tea is known for its strong bactericidal action among many teas. Yunomi is a container for drinking green tea that comes out when eating sushi. It is known that this is larger than the normal one. The Japanese hardly know the reason for this. It may be said that in order to use the bactericidal action of green tea, but it is just hindsight. When the prototype of the current sushi was born, it was a stall and was run by the owner alone. Moreover, it was the era of samurai and before mechanization. Of course, there is no water supply. The shopkeeper draws water from the well. And the sushi sold there was generally eaten by hand. In other words, the green tea that was served to customers at that time it had two meanings, a drink for meals and a wash of hands after eating. That's why the vessel was big to wash my hands. Only say that the remnants is also a modern, that wash their hands in the tea is not now. Sushi at home. Sushi that is often made and eaten at home in Japan is called hand-rolled sushi. This is because each individual who eats puts vinegared rice on a sheet of seaweed called nori. Put more sashimi and vegetables on it and roll it by hand. It's a party style where you eat it with soy sauce. Japanese people are dexterous, and the level of home cooking is high even in the world. In each household of Japan it is rare for each family to make sushi that everyone in the world knows well. This is because you can only make sushi that has a completely different taste and does not look like sushi that you eat at a high-end store. The Japanese know it well. You guys just put raw fish on rice, right? You might think. The simpler the food, the deeper it is. Currently, in the world, not only sushi but the number of restaurants where you can eat Japanese food has increased. Japanese people rarely find this delicious. It's just another thing made by imitating. Really. Even so, Japanese people go to eat it. That's because there is no other Japanese food. On the contrary, other countries' dishes such as French food and Italian food eaten in Japan, there is an evaluation that it is as delicious as or better than the real one. Of course. Although it is customized for Japanese people in Japan, that's right. Japan has a high level of cooking. Part of the reason can be glimpsed in this video. For more details, I'm going to describe in another video in the future. Sushi manners seen in high-end sushi restaurants. Even if you say manners, how you eat is often up to you. Also, many Japanese are not familiar with sushi manners. Here, while explaining manners various why in sushi, it will be explained. 1. The basis of a high-class sushi restaurant is the counter format. It's a style of eating while talking with a sushi chef, so please remove your watch or bracelet. Obviously, it is a delicate dish that makes use of the raw fish material itself. Please refrain from strong perfumes. Also, since it is a meal at the counter, please obtain permission when shooting. 2. You can order what to eat next one by one and ask for anything. Basically, it is good manners to order from the one with the lightest taste. If you order sushi with a strong taste first, saying because it's your favorite food, this is because you will not be able to understand the taste of the light-tasting sushi that comes out later. If you are not confident in making this order, there is also a way to leave the order of eating to the sushi chef. By the way, the garnish gari has the role of resetting the inside of the mouth. 3. Sushi is originally eaten by hand. In this case, the sushi chef puts air in the rice and holds it softly. This is to give the texture that the rice unravels when you put the sushi in your mouth. You can use chopsticks without any problem. In that case, the sushi chef will hold the sushi firmly so that it will not crumble when you hold it with chopsticks. There is another advantage to using chopsticks. Raw fish is a delicate ingredient. and its taste deteriorates depending on the human body temperature. You can prevent this by using chopsticks. Of course. The sushi chef knows this, so he holds sushi quickly with a minimum of steps. 4. Do not let soy sauce come into contact with vinegared rice. Sushi chefs make sushi as soft as possible, so if you touch the vinegared rice with soy sauce, the rice will fall apart. Also, it absorbs too much soy sauce and the taste becomes too strong. When applying soy sauce, apply it to the ingredients from the side of the sushi. If that is difficult, you can also apply soy sauce with the garnish gari. 5. Eat sushi with one bite. Sushi chefs make sushi that way. If it's difficult, the sushi chef may make the sushi a little smaller. You can tell the sushi chef verbally. And if possible, turn the sushi over and eat it. When eating with chopsticks, it is difficult to turn it over, so it is better not to overdo it. That is the original and most delicious way to eat. 6. Let's eat the served sushi immediately. Most of the ingredients used in high-end sushi restaurants are raw seafood that has never been frozen. This is because, as I mentioned in the sashimi video, it does not destroy the fish cells. In addition, the knives used by sushi chefs are knives that can be cut well using Japanese sword technology. This also cuts the ingredients sharply and smoothly so as not to destroy the cells as much as possible. That the taste and texture is different delicate cuisine also by the sharpness of the knife. And this is also very misunderstood, but due to current temperature control technology, it is possible to eat fish in a raw state safely for a long period of time. This means that raw fish does not necessarily have to be fresh at the moment. Of course, some fish lose their taste if you don't eat them within the day. Depending on the type of fish, there are also long fish species that are aged for 1 month. Therefore, the sushi in front of you is now, this moment is offering in the best condition. It's polite to eat it quickly. 7. Order miso soup and sushi rolls near the end of the meal. As I explained earlier, I will eat something with a strong taste in the second half, so it's also a soup to reset it. And finally in Japan, I ordered a simple sushi roll, the mouth is refreshed and the meal is over. Of course. This is just an orthodox example, not a manner, that's right. Perhaps sushi in the world is sushi rolls. I think that sushi roll is developing. Sushi rolls are not the main thing in Japan. Because it is not a way to eat to bring out the goodness of the ingredients. California rolls are delicious though. There are other manners, but it depends on the store. Rather, for customers who see it for the first time, some shops refuse counter seats and accept table seats, so I think it's a good idea to ask questions in advance. Extra edition. In fact, even sushi sold at supermarkets and sushi delivered to home, there is a turn to eat sushi. The bottom left is the lightest. The sushi is arranged so that the taste becomes stronger from left to right. That's right. It is correct to eat sushi in order from the left. Few Japanese know this, of course. It doesn't matter which order you eat. But here, the interesting thing is this is the case when sushi is not arranged in this order. In other words, we can know that those who make sushi do not have enough knowledge of sushi.
はい、バイレチです。日本といえば桜なんですけど、そう、桜の季節なんですよね。で、この画像です。今回のコロナ騒動で日本でよく飲まれる緑茶の殺菌作用が注目されていたりします。また、日本人がよく食べる海藻などに栄養素や免疫を上げる成分が含まれているというのも微妙に注目されてますけど、残念なことに海藻類を消化する酵素は日本人の腸の中からしか発見されていません。つまり海藻は日本人しか消化吸収できないということです。といっても消化できない海藻類に特に害はありません。それどころか繊維質を多く含んでいるので、消化できずとも健康には良いのではないでしょうか。で、今回の話の寿司ですけど、これがメインで、ね、この表記もあります。しかも日本語って漢字だけじゃなく、ひらがな、カタカナというね、3つの文字で構成されるので、寿司とかの表記もあるわけですよ。日本語って面倒でしょ世界でもトップクラスの難しい言語みたいですよ。 今回俺が日本語で話してるのは、ね、もちろん英語が下手というのがあるんですが、こういう小難しい動画をプロの翻訳家に頼んでも断られてしまうんですよね。ですから今後は日本語で話して後でじっくりそれに合う英語を探すことにします。だからもうたまにしか俺は英語を話さないと思います。See ya! 追加でサーモンなんだけど、日本のスーパーマーケットや回転寿司ではサーモン寿司やカリフォルニアロールとか食べれるし人気なんですけど、日本の高級寿司店ではサーモンを扱ってないことがあります。理由は日本では以前サーモンを生で食べてなかったからです。サーモン自体は日本にも存在するんですけどね。これは外国でサーモンがね養殖されるようになって冷凍の後に生で食べるようになりました。だから輸入とか冷凍とか伝統的な寿司店はこういうの嫌みたいなんですよ。これは美味しいと思うんだけどね。じゃあ